What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In today's video, we're going to be going ahead and utilizing the brand new Super Type Zoro, which I was very lucky enough to pull in the recent Sugo-Fest. So we're going to be using this guy against all of the 10-star difficulty Garb challenges. So that includes the Navy, the Enel, and the Whitebeard challenge. Not with the same team, it's going to be 3 separate teams versus the content, but this unit's really awesome. So before we get into the actual content, I want to go ahead and just quickly talk about it and give you guys a very brief rundown, just so you guys understand what this character can actually do. So Zoro is a super dex character, slasher driven, with a captain effect of boosting dex by 4.5, 4 times to all other colors, which is nice, 1.5 health, and reduces special bind by 10 turns when he's the captain, which is amazing to have. A really nice utility effect. And then he also states that if you've taken 20,000 or more damage, his captain effect will slightly change. So the attack boost to dex characters now will become a 5 times boost, and he also will reduce all enemies health by 20% every time you move into a new stage. So it's a phenomenal captain effect, easily the best dex, super dex character in the game on global. Of course, you know, there's going to be a really powerful character coming very soon. But either way, as for Zoro's special ability, it maxes at 14 turns. It goes to 13 with an expansion. It reduces all characters' cooldowns by 2. It allows Zoro's normal attacks to bypass all defensive effects and then deal 100 times his attack in non-type damage to all enemies. That also ignores all defensive effects, including base defense, which is great. And he also says for 1 turn, he boosts your dex character's slot effect. So it's an orb boost for your dex units. And it's a 2.5 orb boost anytime that it's activated. But if you've taken 20,000 or more damage, it will be a 2.75 times orb boost instead. So it's a bit of a weird one. I don't really know why they had to add a discrepancy between 2.5 and 2.75. Like, it's a very minor boost, but it does give you more damage ultimately. But it would have been better if the discrepancy was a little larger, like if it maybe was a 3 times boost, would have been really crazy. Or potentially just did another effect as well if you were, you know, taking 20,000 or more damage. He does have the super type, of course, which all you need to activate it is a unit on your team that is one of the Straw Hats, or a Hiyori, or an Otoko character. And what it does 75 times his attack AoE damage. It will also give your dex characters 2 times color affinity for 1 turn as well. So it's a pretty nice super type special, obviously, for your dex units. And really nice, I really wanted to point out, as a sub, he is immune to special reverse. So you can use him as a sub with his special ability to reduce your character's cooldowns. So that's going to be nice for, you know, upcoming content in the future. And then also makes dex slots beneficial to your crew as well. So really nice sailor effects. And he does have a great support effect attaching to any dex unit. When that dex unit that he supports activates a damage dealing or a health cut special, your dex units get a 1.75 times orb boost for 1 turn. So if you do get this guy, if you're lucky enough to pull him, make sure to max that support, because that is actually going to see some play in the future. That is for damn sure. But that's the rundown of the brand new super type Zoro, a really cool character. Let's go ahead and jump into the content for this video. Alright, so jumping into this, so first of all, we have a couple different debuffs on the Whitebeard challenge, because that's the one we're taking on first. A couple different debuffs we had to take into account. Of course, attack down is the major one. Attack down inflicted on stage 2 and on stage 6. Though I have 2 units to help me get around that, because I want to try and speed farm this content, get through it as fast as I possibly can. And in this instance here, I'm using the treasure map Luffy to help get rid of the attack down first. He also gives us an orb boost, which is really nice for taking down Curiel. But I'm also using Corazon on this team, because Corazon's going to be used a little bit later to not only get rid of the attack down paralysis and the chain lock on the Marco Vista stage, but he gives us a really nice recovery boost, which will help with getting some health back before we move into the final stage, because if you don't kill the bosses on the final stage in 1 turn, you actually get given a pretty serious amount of damage. So we're definitely going ahead and doing that. Actually, one thing that's really dope here on the Curiel stage is, because of the health cut that Curiel gives to us, we actually got the buffed captain effect of Zoro already on stage 2. So that means every single stage we move into, we're cutting their health by 20%. So that's ridiculously useful to have here. And something that I haven't really talked about either is the ship. So on each of the teams you see in this video today, well, I'm using the Liberal Hind ship, because I think if your captain is a slasher, or a free spirit, or cerebral, I think it's one of those 3 classes. Those are the ones that get given the boost, right? You need to have your captain be one of those in order to get the, I think it's 1.6 attack boost. And then it also has the additional heal per turn. It gives you cooldown at the start of the fight. It's just a ridiculously good ship. If you have the opportunity to pick up the Liberal Hind ship, I highly advise doing it. It's probably the best ship in the game, honestly, because it has the most uses on the most teams. In my opinion, it does, but I digress. We're not here to talk about the ship today. We're here to talk about my man V3 Zoro. My man absolutely demolishes these 10-star difficulty Garb challenges. Now, the team against the Navy challenge it definitely could be optimized in a couple of different ways, you know, because it is a little bit slow, but it definitely gets the job done. I would say it's a little bit more reliable comparatively to like Kaido, for example, because the V1 Dex Kaido team, at least the one that I used initially to clear the Navy challenge, we'll get to that in a little bit, but I felt it was a little bit off. Zoro, though, was really, really impressive, and it's really just like a breath of fresh air, because in a lot of cases, I just use V1 Kaido to clear these Dex difficulty challenges for these Garp challenges. But, you know, moving into Zoro, which is, you know, just boost any Dex unit. You don't have to worry about the class of unit that you're bringing, at least a lot of the time, depending on the team composition. It's really, really nice. But just talking about some of the other characters I have on this team, you know, we also have to deal with the defensive boss with Jozu, and I felt like the best unit in this situation was going to be Vivi and Rebecca. No real reason why I chose them over, like, someone else, but they just felt like the most, you know, plausible choice. I actually didn't really use their switch effect all that much, I don't think, but yeah, their switch effect is obviously amazing. And another unit that I brought was Barto Cavendish. Now, Barto Cavendish, I think I also use in the next team against Enel, because one of the things that it was just super annoying to deal with was just the strength enemies in general. Of course, running a full Dex team is kind of annoying, so, you know, Dex, the strength enemies are going to be a little bit of a problem. But here we have, you know, obviously Barto Cavendish, which have that switch effect to switch into Cavendish, which have the type advantage against those strength enemies that the Dex units would otherwise not have. And the good thing about them is that Zoro, specifically with his Captain effect, will still boost all of the colors by 4 times, so you don't have to worry about that. But their switch effect gives themselves an orb boost, so if there's a strength enemy, if I switch into Cavendish, he gives himself an orb boost, he gives himself a matching slot. It makes a really, really big difference having that character on the team for clearing those strength enemies out. And their special ability, obviously giving a driven attack boost, is phenomenal, because Zoro himself is a driven unit, so it works very, very well with those units, of course. However, on this last stage, I forget to use Barto Cavendish's special on the initial turn, so I don't know why I forgot to do it, but I just did. So either way, I still get the job done, which is dope. But we'll go ahead and pick things up once we get to the Enel Garp challenge. So moving on up to the Enel Garp challenge this time around. Now this team composition, we are using V1 Kaido as a sub on the team, which is something that I don't really do that often, but it really made a big difference, and it makes this event so much easier, man. Rather than just running another unit on the team to just potentially give me a boost here or there, just having Kaido on the team to just wave clear is dope as hell. Now remember, as a sub, he only gets 1 hit of damage off against the enemy, so it's not like multiple different bursts, which does make it ridiculously easy. But you know, just 1 burst of damage at the end of the turn it can be the difference between you like winning and losing a run, which is cool, right? And you know, it doesn't make that big of a difference. You can replace it with whatever you want, but I felt like having Kaido on the team just made this particular fight so much easier. Now, one thing about the Enel challenge that you typically have to take into consideration is the final stage, because you get inflicted with a couple of different debuffs. First of all, you get inflicted with fear debuff to your crewmates, you also get inflicted with stun to your captains, and you also get inflicted with special bind. However, the order of operations in which the boss Enel Enel actually inflicts these debuffs to you, allows Zoro's captain ability to remove the 10 turns of total special bind with his captain effect. So it's 20 turns total with both captains. That gets removed before he gets stunned and stuff, because typically stun does remove a lot of your captain ability effects. Now, I'm not really too sure if he was stunned first and then you get inflicted with special bind, if that would actually make a big difference or not, but anyways, the way that it works is you will be able to remove the special bind when Zoro is your captain on the final stage. So the only thing you really need is some type of way to remove the stun. And in my circumstance here, I'm going ahead and bringing Neo Enel. Neo Enel has a special that reduces your crew's health, I think it's by 90%, and it gives your dex characters a 2x attack boost. So it works perfectly, but just basically any effect that can reduce your crew's HP will remove that stun. Another way you could get around it is just by using the free-to-play treasure map unit Nami and Sanji. You can definitely do that. However, their special ability is an orb boost to fighter and free spirit, which obviously doesn't synergize well with Zoro. And of course, I did want to go ahead and activate the super type of Zoro sometime throughout this adventure, so that's why I'm using Treasure Map Luffy still as a crewmate on the team, and also because a little bit later on stage 6, we get inflicted with bind to our bottom row, so the Luffy special ability will remove that bind for us, which is really, really great. We also have the Rayleigh support, I believe, attached to him, which helps us remove the bind that got inflicted on stage 2. So, you know, just utility-based effects to ensure that we can get through it, but, you know, Kaido's kind of carrying our way through essentially all of these boss fights here, which is great. On the final stage, of course, all of our accumulated values are removed. Now, that does mean that if your Zoro had taken 20,000 damage, which means you have the 2.75 times orb boost instead, the removed accumulated values does affect Zoro's special, so it'll be just a regular 2.5 times orb boost. But as I said at the start of the video, you know, Zoro doing a 2.5 orb boost versus a 2.75 times orb boost, like, it doesn't matter that much at the end of the day. It's still a humongous boost that's going to help you out a lot. It only really would matter in very specific circumstances where you wanted the 2.75, but as I said, it shouldn't be that bad in the grand scheme of things, of course. And, you know, Bato Cavendish make a return because I know that the Wiper stage I felt was going to be a bit of a problem because of him being such a significant and really, really strong strength enemy. So having him on the team essentially just for his switch effect to switch into Cavendish to get type advantage, that was the main reason why I brought him, but, you know, could be replaced with essentially anything. Also, Kaido could be replaced with essentially anything, but I felt these were the most appropriate characters to make the job a lot easier. But I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip versus Enel, and we'll pick things up once we get to the Navy Garb challenge. The final Garb challenge of the video is going to be versus Navy, which arguably is the most difficult of these challenges here. So, of course, there are a couple of things that we have to take note of for the Navy challenge, first of which is the threshold damage reduction. We have Bonnie here. Now, Bonnie is actually great for a couple of reasons, and the main reason why she's here, obviously, is for that threshold, but she also has a really nice added effect that can give you a full board of recovery slots, which is going to help us a lot on stage 3 versus Kobe and Helmeppo, where we get inflicted with the hunger debuff. So having the ability to just get a full board of recovery slots means that we can just eat 2 of them, remove that hunger, and we can go about our day. The other thing that is kind of annoying, though, is I didn't really plan too much for the Kobe and Helmeppo stage because, you know, I don't really have much going on for me in terms of killing strength enemies. Luckily, though, Kobe is the only strength enemy in this entire boss fight, and considering it's in the early stages of the event, you know, if I did fail, I could just go ahead and start the run again. It wasn't really going to be a big issue, but, you know, you shouldn't really die on this stage either way. I did decide to go ahead and use the super type of Zoro to make sure that when we do attack Kobe, that we have a little bit of extra, you know, damage going our way, because with type disadvantage is going to be a bit of a problem. So with super super type active, we do get more damage, but of course with Zora's super type activation, it inherently gives you additional color affinity, which means that we ultimately get less damage versus Kobe. So I had to go ahead and take down Helmeppo first, which meant that, you know, once Kobe stays alive for a couple turns, he puts increased defense, which makes him a lot more annoying to kill. So I didn't really plan for this stage too well, but all the other boss stages were a little bit more planned for and definitely were very easy to take on. But essentially, once you get past the Kobe and Helmeppo stage, the rest of the fight is ridiculously easy from there on out. Versus the Smoker stage, I didn't actually completely get rid of all the debuffs. After the sockets are activated, we have 2 turns of Despair and 3 turns of Bind that are left on our team. So I do have the Rayleigh support once again on Kung Fu Luffy, by the way, who actually comes in super clutch here to give us really good damage for multiple turns. But we only remove the bind by 2 turns instead of 1, so unfortunately don't get rid of that. I don't think it really would have made that much a difference even if we were able to remove it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At this point it's fine. We have enough health to at least tank 1 hit because of, luckily enough, because we spent so much time on Kobe that we actually have the buffed Captain effective Zora right now, so we have the increased multiplier, we have the health cut every time we enter a new stage, which actually comes in super clutch versus the next stage with Kizaru, because the way that it will be structured is very similar to when Kaido is used as a captain, because when you move into the next stage, the enemy's preemptive to add the barrier has not activated yet, so the health cut of Zoro will actually bypass Kizaru's barrier on stage 5, so that is nice to have. But luckily, the good thing about the Navy challenge is on stage 6, once you're able to take down Fujitora, you can essentially stall for like, I think it's like 8 or 9 turns straight against those surrounding fodder characters. So that's really nice. So you can launch a lot of specials prior to the boss fight, charge them back up when you reach the second last stage, move into the final stage, use the specials, and especially with the revive, we're going to have Bonnie ready to go once again. And also, because of the way that Zora is structured, every time you launch Zora's special, you reduce all your characters' cooldowns by 2 turns. So even if some of your characters aren't entirely ready to go once again, the special ability of Zora is going to help you out a lot with getting your specials back. So I really, really love that about Zora as well. And that's going to give him a lot of usability as a sub moving forward. So once we get even better Dex units down the line, or if you want to use a different character as a captain, whether it be like another Slash unit or a Driven unit, you know, so long as you got some Dex units on the team, you can make full use of Zora to, you know, just resist special reverse, as well as giving you massive damage. So I really like that about Zora, man. There's lots to love about this unit. I'm having a lot of fun using him right now. I've already completed all of the Chopperman missions for the Kamazo event, and that's been really, really fun to use him there. His special animation is absolutely godly, and every time I activate it, I feel like I have to sit through it. But sometimes, you know, you gotta get the ball rolling. But I'm gonna leave you guys with the rest of this clip here. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and if you guys did enjoy, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.